So this is what I understood when I watched LeBron. First things first. I was so proud of LeBron when I saw that interview. When I saw him tell the guy, hold up, let me get my words out, said what he wanted to say, put the mic down, mic drop, and walk off, that right there, everybody wanting to call LeBron a sellout or call him no, can't. One, he can't be everything to everybody. Two, he's not holding our race on his shoulders. He's only doing his part as a person blessed enough to be born black. So let me say that to those people saying what he should do. That always tripped me out too. Well, all these black people, all these rich people should get together, put money and help the community. I realized that you don't need celebrities to help the community. That's everybody in the community is a celebrity because we can come out of nowhere. So all that, y'all should do this, when I realized everybody should do something. I'm just very proud of LeBron for stepping up and saying what he said without fear. That was another thing, man. It's this whole fear thing. And it's not the thinking part. Like, a lot of guys get up on the mountaintop and start yelling and screaming and talking, and they forget that they can get hit with an arrow. I'm watching the Game of Thrones. Like, you got to pay attention to those crossbows. Like, you got to pay attention when you speak it and how. But I think on that, I think LeBron was great, and I think Jerry Jones. Chris Rock had a great saying. I think I said it on the show before. They asked him, what did he think about race in America? And he said, I just think white folks are less crazy. And guy said, what do you mean? He goes, well, my grandfather, they told him he couldn't drink from the water fountain or go to the same schools. Then somebody said, that's crazy. You can't do that. Then they stopped. And he goes, the whole determination was upon the ruling class saying what could happen, what couldn't. And then as time goes on, they realize that a lot of things they do were crazy, stupid, and didn't have any merit. And so as time goes on, it lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens to this crazy part. But it's not that we change. It's that the ruling class changed. The mentality has changed.
Well, and there was also a lot of those things were being done secretly under the table. There wasn't a lot of promotion of it. There wasn't publicity around it. I felt like the Emmett Till was somewhat of a turning point, where it was like, listen, if you grow up in the North and you weren't around slavery and Jim Crow and the black people in your neighborhood were being treated relatively respectfully, you just didn't think an Emmett Till situation was real.
Right.
But then you saw the pictures, and then at that point you realized, oh my God, it is real. And shout out to Emmett Till's mother, who did what I don't think any parent would ever want to do, and to publicize a picture of your son beaten so badly that he no longer looked human.
Right. Leave the casket open so they
leave the casket open. Take pictures. Everyone, come in. All the press, take as many photos as you want, and put it all out there so the world could see what's really happening down here.
The second major coming of Emmett Till was George Floyd.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
No one believed. Richard Pryor used to make jokes. He always used to make jokes about police brutality, but he used to make tons of jokes about police brutality here in California. And rappers talk about it. Everybody talks about police brutality, what the police were doing to people of color.
Yeah, fuck the police by NWA.
Right. Not until they saw George Floyd's situation did people really totally believe what was happening.
I agree.
And then I started paying attention that the propaganda was so great in America that, they have you believe America is so great. And I'm going to tell you, no place is utopia, right? But the way that we think we are and the way we are two different things. And I'm glad they're understanding that when I saw this thing about Qatar and they were talking about the World Cup and how they were against this and how you couldn't do this and how you didn't have freedoms to do that and do this. And then all of a sudden there was 5 people killed at a club because they were gay. There was this, there was this. All the problems that they were talking about were happening in America.
Well, 500 people died building the stadiums in Qatar, mostly, if not all, immigrants. So that really, you can't excuse that.
Well, you can't, right? But then we would have to not do anything in America, right? Because if you can't, if you're not saying you're supposed to excuse it, look at our past. Look at the past of America.
Yeah, I mean, America's fucked up. And, you know, even the head of the soccer team, the U.S. soccer team, was questioned by an Iranian journalist about, you know, I don't know if you saw that whole thing, where he was like, how do you represent America when black people are treated so badly and the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth? And, you know, the guy actually answered. He goes, well, you know, there's, you know, I grew up, I guess, with a white family, so I get to see both sides of it. And yes, we have work to do. And, you know, just like the rest of the world has work to do and so forth. But it's different perspectives and so forth.